Hello and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. And are you recovered yet? Because I'm still getting there after Thursday night. I think we're all pretty much still riding the high, really. And it's hard to think that we've actually got a game tomorrow. And for the first time in ages, it's not actually that important if we win it. That's going to be a great feeling. It's the first time I think I'm going to feel like I'm much involved in Everton like in that way since about I don't know November. And we were all naive enough to think that we wouldn't be in trouble this season. You can still tell my voice isn't still 100% there either since Thursday night as well. I was pretty hoarse by the end of that match. But what a game! Obviously this isn't a video to be talking about that, but you can't really just move on without mentioning it at all. Absolutely, that's one of the best games ever in our recent history, and it could not have been more important. Absolutely, just incredible to do it like that. Ensure your safety in a way like that. Just absolutely incredible, and the spirit throughout the club, from manager, for all the players who have really stepped up. Is really great to see. And basically, what we're going to be discussing here for this starting 11 video is how I think for those players who have really put in a shift these last few weeks in particular, how they should pretty much all really deserve a rest. But based on squad depth and based on the fact that we can't just send out our under 23s because we're playing against Arsenal who still have something to fight for, and it kind of goes against any sort of integrity if Spurs do mess up against Norwich, because obviously them two are going for the top four. We can't exactly just rest everybody. So it's kind of a case of who's going to play and who isn't. So I think the fence is still pretty self-explanatory because, as we discussed before, that's probably where our depth is the weakest. So I think Pickford will still start, and I think maybe Mikalenko might be the only one really rested. So I think Kenny will come in at left back, and you've got your Keane, your Holgate, and your Coleman. I mean, I guess there's a chance Godfrey might be, given a go just to, get some fuel in the tank. But I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. And I kind of hope Lampard doesn't do it. We don't need, like as we've mentioned, don't need to get anything out of the game. It does not matter what the result is. So it would feel quite stupid if Godfrey picks up kind of a rough injury, halts any rehabilitation over the summer. So I wouldn't be playing him, and hopefully Lampard feels the same way. Midfield, I think we will have two central midfielders that I do not think will be Everton players at the start of next season. So I think Allen and Gomez. I think Decore you've got to give a rest. Whatever your opinion is on Decore as a player, or at least the ability that he's shown in the last few weeks, no one could argue, especially Thursday night, that he did not absolutely run his socks off. So for that alone, he deserves a rest. Obviously, Gomez was kind of the villain of Thursday and probably the only mistake Lampard maybe made starting him. And obviously, he got hooked at half time for Dele Alli, who of course came on and changed the game. But I'd just give him a start, because they're options. And Allen, I'm not entirely sure what's happened there. I think there must be something behind the scenes because I don't think there's anything he's done performance-wise to warrant just not being given a look in the last few games. I don't know if he's had a falling out with Lampard or made it clear he wants to leave or what, but whatever it is, it makes me think he's definitely not going to be here next season. But again, if it's a game that doesn't matter, you can play anyone really. So I think we'll see them too, and it might very well be the case of, this is going to probably be your last game for Everton. So out you go, enjoy yourselves. And speaking of Dele Alli, who I just mentioned, who of course absolutely changed the game on Thursday, no one can have any doubts about that. I think he starts at attacking mid. Noah Roby, I think, so you're talking about deserving a rest. My God, he was still running in the 97th minute, for God's sake. He did not stop on Thursday. And what a turnaround from him. I don't think I've seen a player turn around their fortunes just as much as Iwobi, and it really does seem to have been triggered by Lampard's arrival, and Lampard's just got something out of him. He's played him in clearly what is his best position at attacking midfield, but and he's really started to thrive. But whenever he's had to fill in at right wing back or whatever, he's like put in a shift there as well. He's been absolutely brilliant. You know, I think if we had a half season award, he'd walk it. But obviously because he wasn't at the very good beforehand, before Lampard came in or whatever. You'd probably be looking at someone like Pickford for that, I think, or maybe even Anthony Gordon. And speaking of him as well, like the number one priority for me is Gordon should not come on the pitch at any point on Sunday, because my God, he looked absolutely goosed after about 50 minutes on Thursday, and who can blame him, to be honest? Like he's still a young lad. He's still he's not. He's probably he hasn't got anywhere near Premier League level stamina yet. But he is just putting a shift every single game for us in this relegation fight, and it heavily deserves a long break. So yeah, I do not want him on the pitch at all on Sunday, and I think the same kind of goes for Damari Gray. Really, I think he's also struggled fitness wise. So I don't think either of them will start. I'd probably say the same about Richarlison, but Richarlison's just got that air of just he will play no matter what, and he will make himself available. And it's kind of a tricky decision really. We don't really have many wingers fit that are available at the moment, so I think you kind of have to play one of them. And if it's out of them three, I think Richarlison's probably got the best level of stamina and has shown the least signs of really being knackered the last few games. And as I mentioned, will just want to play anyway. So I imagine he'll start left. You'll probably, I don't know, stick El Ghazi in it, right? See if give him one last chance to show anything, or he's almost certainly still going to go down as one of the most pointless signings in our history. And then Calvert-Lewin up front, I guess. You'd think someone like Rondon would probably come in, but obviously he's suspended after his very stupid red against Brentford. And I don't want to see Tossum play, so because it's Tossum. Obviously, he's going to be leaving in the summer. Thank God, finally getting rid of him. But he doesn't deserve a farewell game or anything like that, does he? So Calvert-Lewin against a club that he may very well likely be turning out for come August. So just give him a chance to get used to the Emirates, really, I guess. So, yeah, I imagine he'll be starting because there's no one else you can really. But I guess maybe Dobbin, possibly. Don't know how much he's been playing for the under-23s recently, if he's going to be fit or not. But I guess he's an option, perhaps. But I imagine it'll be Calvert-Lewin starting. So because I think that on paper is still a strong enough team, and Tottenham can't come around and say, whoa, this isn't the strongest team at all. This is giving Arsenal an unfair advantage. It shouldn't matter anyway, really. Tottenham are playing Norwich. They should batter them anyway. Norwich have got nothing to play for. And I still think, on paper, our second team would be better than Norwich's. Try and ignore the fact they beat us at Carabao. But, that's all in the past now. We've stayed up. That's all that's important. We can remember all the good times of this season and just try and forget all the others. Try and forget Benitez was ever here. And just try and remember Thursday night. Well, I mean, no one's forgetting that ever. So that's going to be an easy feat. But yeah, I think that's about it, really. I can't see us getting anything at Arsenal. I couldn't the whole weeks leading up when we were, grimacing at the thought that it might have been an important game. It isn't an important game at all. It does not matter. And it will be absolutely great watching Everton play, and if they lose, well, for once. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and be intrigued to see how similar Lampard's team is to the one I just picked. So, yeah, I think that's me, guys. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more Everton content on the Toffee Blues channel. And we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.